So the title of our talk today is The Amazing Effects of Stress on Our Hearts. First of all, we need to define what stress is. Stress has been called anxiety. It's being uncomfortable about what's going on around us causes us stress. It is the fight or flight function of our autonomic nervous system. It also creates motivation for us. Motivation to get out of harm's way, but sometimes just motivation to get out of bed in the morning. If we've got nothing in front of us for the day, if we have no needs that are unmet, it's real easy just to do nothing. Motivation is that ingredient that gets us going. And then there's worry. There's borrowing trouble from the future, playing the what if game. What if this happens? What if that happens? So different words, different terms. I mentioned fight or flight already. This is the sympathetic nervous system kicking in when you have stress, no matter which form it is. Your heart rate increases. You shut down digestion. You shut off your thinking. Makes it harder to think. And it gives you tunnel vision. You literally only see what's directly in front of you. The reason these things happen is because we were designed to protect ourselves. Back in the hunter-gatherer days, most stress came in the form of things like the saber-toothed tiger. If you're running from the saber-toothed tiger, you want your heart rate increased because you want more blood flow to the muscles so that you can run faster and get out of the way. You don't need to worry about if you're going to digest that next meal if you're not able to live long enough to need that next meal. So digestion goes on the back burner of the body. When we're in a panic mode, we don't think straight. You can really see this in animals, that when they're scared, they'll run towards danger instead of away from danger because they're not thinking straight. You know, trying to list a series of memorized words when you're being threatened for your life is pretty unreasonable. And then tunnel vision, because when you're running for your life, all you need to see is the path in front of you so you can get out of danger as soon as possible. All of these are physical reactions, and they're caused by something called cortisol. And cortisol is the chemical created by the body in times of stress. When we are under chronic stress, these reactions are diminished, but they're never gone. People with chronic digestive problems typically have chronic stress problems. When we have cortisol running through our systems, we act on the fight or flight, but there's no mechanism except physical exertion to get that cortisol out of the body. So if you are in a near-miss car accident, you feel your heart pounding, you feel your breathing heavy, you feel tingling in the extremities. It takes a long time for that to go away unless you do something physically exertion. And if it stays in there, it continues to react with our body. And in a lot of ways, it acts like acid in the body. So it's not all physical and it's not all emotional. Modern stress comes from things like, will I be late to my meeting? Will I lose my job? Will I be able to pay my bills? Will I do well on this test? Or will someone where I'm going make fun of me? The last two are really in the student environment, but it can be in the workforce as well. So all of these things are emotional stressors. And you can probably think of dozens more that you have dealt with in your lifetime. So what happens to the heart and the circulation system? Well, cortisol increases cholesterol levels in your body. It increases the triglycerides. It increases your blood sugar. So diabetics, one way to bring down your blood sugar is to get rid of the stress in your life. It increases your blood pressure. When your blood pressure is high, find ways to reduce your stress level. It increases the plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. And it makes platelets, so the red blood cells, sticky and prone to forming clots in the bloodstream. It causes our arteries to constrict. We get chest pain, angina, sometimes as much as a heart attack. And it leads to poor lifestyle choices. These are two tests on the same person, 8 months apart. And this woman has been under extreme stress during these last 8 months. This is the first one on the left. You can see that her wave type was type 2. Type 1 is the best, then is the worst. Her arterial elasticity was at 91, and her peripheral elasticity was 98. Her vessel status was number 2. A good report. This is the kind of report we all want. Now, earlier in April, she retested. She is now type 4 on her wave type. Her arterial elasticity has dropped to 47. And her vessel status has moved to level 4. This is effects of stress on the circulation system. Second page of this report. You can see here, her autonomic nervous system was strong. She still had stress back then, most of it mental, but she was doing pretty well, score of 35. Now, her autonomic nervous system has weakened. Her stress level is still the same, but her reaction to stress, physical stress, has gotten worse. Mental stress has gotten worse, but most of all, her stress resilience has gotten worse. So here is a real life example of what happens to the body with constant chronic stress. So what can we do about all this? Well, first one is meditation and prayer. Spending some time, some quiet time, especially talking to God, can help relieve the stress in your life. Doing some deep breathing can help reduce stress. Journaling, writing out what you fear and the good things in your life. Looking for supportive relationships, whether it's friends or family, and finding some fulfilling hobbies. These are all ways to reduce the stress level on our bodies. Questions to ask yourself. If you're worrying about something, can I do anything about this situation? If the answer is no, then let it go. Don't keep thinking about it. Don't keep worrying on it. If there is something you can do, then take action. Do what you can do to make things better. And number 3 is don't borrow from the future. Don't play the what if game, as I call it. The Bible has a verse that says, don't borrow trouble from tomorrow. Today has enough of its own. So we want to remember that. Today, we can't do a whole lot about what happens tomorrow unless we're making a decision that's going to affect it. On the spiritual end of it, worrying is telling God you don't trust him. Prayer, you can tell God what you want to happen. You can acknowledge that he knows more and may have a better way, and then tell him that you accept his way. This little prayer recipe, to call it, is one of the best ways to get rid of stress. Acknowledge our limitations. Conclusion: deal with things as they come. Don't let them add up. Make plans to avoid stressful situations. Let go of things you can't control. Burn off steam with exercise. And then get help with the physical and emotional consequences of stress. And 2 good avenues of that is seeing a naturopath and seeing a counselor.